Today, I'd like to talk about introverts. Introverts are uncomfortable in the spotlight. In social situations, they'd rather blend into the background, standing next to a wall, setting a timer on their phone to count down the minutes when it's acceptable for them to leave quietly. These chronically online takeaway kings and queens are not as annoying as loud people and not as interesting as dogs. They exist in a liminal space of human subjectivity. They're basically cute house kittens that learned how to overthink and have read The Picture of Dorian Gray. Introverts love to daydream. They spend hours on end detaching from their surroundings to think of hypothetical scenarios that'll probably never happen. Here, introverts can be split into two camps, the catastrophe camp and the solution camp. The catastrophe coded introvert ruminates over unlikely events until they start to panic, rendering them essentially useless in the physical realm. The solution-based introvert uses their logical brains to solve their mind-made problems. All introverts have a rich inner world. Their brains are so creative that they have the power to ruin their own day, even though nothing's wrong, just by thinking about things that aren't real. Introverts might seem like they have nothing to say, but they're actually just doing this really rare thing called waiting until it's their turn to speak. Introverts like to listen and occasionally interject once you're finished your sentence. And it's such a culture shock in today's world of delusional pop stars who want to be famous that when an introvert refuses to fill the silence with pointless noise, society labels them as rude, arrogant, or depressed. And although an introvert can be all three of those things, they're usually just tired and would rather be at home watching anime instead of listening to you waffle on about how Fred again has done more for modern culture than Banksy. In the age of aesthetics, being an introvert is no longer a personality type, it's a consumer choice. And ironically, introverts are the loudest online community there is. Everyone thinks they're an introvert. The vast majority of pop culture that we see on our screens was created by introverts, making introvert memes that are so generalizable to almost everyone that even people who aren't that introverted can relate to them. Because maybe feeling exhausted and needing to recharge after a weekend socializing has less to do with draining your social battery and more to do with your MDMA running out. Despite common stereotypes, introverts are just as self-obsessed as extroverts, but their narcissism is reflected inward. So instead of thinking, I'm the best at everything I do, the introvert thinks, nobody has ever felt the way I feel. They spend hours on end thinking about thoughts, pondering the rich tapestry of emotions and motivations. And despite everything, the introvert still thinks they're playing the lead role. But instead of playing the amazing main character, they play the main character who feels like they're misunderstood. So at night time, their brain replays awkward social interactions they had throughout the day, causing them to cringe as they struggle to sleep. Because that's secretly how important they think they are. They truly believe that everyone thinks about them as much as they think about themselves and set up a secret group chat to make fun of them. Introverts have a strong inner critic. And by engaging in a ruthless critique of their internal critique, I hope to help them stop doubting themselves so that they may seek power in the knowledge that nobody's even thinking about them in the first place.